and great to see everyone here for our Community Innovation Lecture Series. Thanks so much for joining. As Kelly mentioned, my name is Larry, joined here today by my colleague Xinxin Fan, and our presentation today is on trusted vehicle tracking with Pebble Tracker. IoTeX is a recent new member of the MOBI Alliance Consortium, but we've been following the automotive and mobility space for a while now, observing MOBI and really admiring the future of decentralized mobility and all the things that Web3 can bring to it. So today we want to introduce what IoTeX is. We've been around since 2017, working on the cutting edge of blockchain and IoT, both at the software level and the hardware level and everything in between. So throughout this lecture, we're going to share a little bit about how some of the devices that we have created to date, such as this one, you can see it in person, it's called Pebble Tracker, how this applies to the trusted vehicle tracking space. For those that are just joining, today's presentation is going to be run by myself, Larry Peng, head of business development here at IoTeX, and Dr. Xinxin Fan, our head of cryptography. So just jumping right into it, right? We're going to start with an introduction about IoTeX, all the things that we do, and Xinxin's going to provide a deep dive into what is Pebble Tracker, what are the ongoing initiatives that we have with Pebble Tracker, and how this applies to some of the ongoing MOBI initiatives, specifically the Trusted Trip standard that was recently published. So just jumping right into it, IoTeX, we have a vision of building the connected world. At the core of what IoTeX is, we are a smart contract platform, a layer 1 blockchain and IoT platform with the goal of fueling the future of Web3. We got started back in 2017, and over the past 4 years have built out a complete blockchain that is tailor fit to connect real world devices and the data and the value that those devices generate to blockchain dApps. So, the reason why we got into this space is early on we understood that machines will be our world's future workforce, and really begs the question, who will own them? Not just the devices themselves, but the data and value that these devices generate. So, blockchain and Web3, the philosophy of data ownership, data authenticity, being able to be kind of your own master of your devices and your information, both from a retail and an enterprise perspective, we believe that blockchain and IoT has a very big shot of helping to solve this issue about allowing everyday people and businesses to own and control their smart devices and machines, as well as the data and value that they generate. So we connect trusted machines and real world data to dApps for the first time. And we do this by offering a fast, low fee, layer 1 blockchain for different types of dApps across what we call MachineFi, DeFi, and GameFi. Here's a high-level look at the IoTeX platform. So like I mentioned, IoTeX is an EVM compatible blockchain. EVM is the Ethereum virtual machine. You can think about it as the engine that processes a lot of the compute related to these blockchains. So EVM is kind of the gold standard across many of these layer 1 blockchains today. And again, we have a very big goal of enabling trusted data from trusted devices for use in trusted dApps. So the platform itself is very full stack. We have our blockchain here at the bottom. It's been live on mainnet since 2019. It's maintained by 60 plus decentralized delegates, and it's very robust. It's never had any hiccups or issues, so we're very proud of that. But these days, all of these layer 1 blockchains are cheaper, faster, more decentralized than Ethereum. What else is different about IoTeX, right? And that's really at this layer 2 middleware protocols level. Of course, we have smart contracts. We support Solidity-based smart contracts through EVM, but we also layer on some more IoT-specific middleware, things like our TruStream data oracle, which Xinxin is going to dive into in more detail. We have a decentralized identity spec through the World Wide Web Consortium that's targeted towards devices. And we're also running, we have also created an IEEE standard called the Identity of Things, which Xinxin is chairing, which is meant to create a framework for decentralized identity and access management in relation to machines. And finally, we have a lot of cross-chain bridges to other other blockchains. So we want to position IoTeX kind of the IoT data hub for the blockchain universe. There's a lot of dev toolkits we have as well, from Wallace to Explorers, SDKs, a new device portal coming out, and very conveniently, we're Web3 compatible as well. So you can use your favorite Ethereum tools like Remix, Truffle, MetaMask on IoTeX, etc. And on top of this platform, we're starting to see a lot of different types of decentralized applications and services sprout. Everything from traditional DeFi to what's going on in GameFi and NFTs, and this kind of new category, this new design space that we've created called MachineFi, which is kind of using real world data from machines in order to trigger different responses in smart contracts, whether it's to monetize your data, whether it's to automate different processes, whether it's to settle financial contracts across different parties. We see real world data as an important new source of information for blockchains, not only to fuel data marketplaces, but to push forward processes, to inform DAOs and many other types of things. So this is a kind of overview of the IoTeX platform itself. Our ecosystem is very large as well. We have around 50,000 staking users, 100,000 monthly active users of our tools, over 8,000 devices on the platform itself. Many Dapps services and tools that you can peruse yourself at ecosystem.iotex.io. And yeah, very importantly, we're also leading a lot of industry consortiums and standards bodies. Like I mentioned, we have our new Identity of Things working group or standard within IEEE. Xinxin is also the co-chair of the P2418.1, which is a framework for blockchain's use in the Internet of Things. So if you guys are interested in on the standardization side, Xinxin is definitely a great person to talk to about how to get involved with these ongoing standards. We're also very active in the industry IoT consortium. We just launched a test drive using Pebble Tracker for medical supply chain and valuable asset tracking, which is also it's kind of like it's not really a standard, but it's more of a product development test bed with real world enterprises, which is very exciting. We just joined MOBI, very excited for this, plan to contribute or already contributing to the Trusted Trip standard and looking to figure out where Pebble Tracker and some of our other technologies can apply into MOBI. And finally, doing a lot of things within the Confidential Computing Consortium, exploring the world of secure hardware at the edge, which is exactly what Pebble is. So this is kind of a view of our ecosystem. A lot of different stakeholders building in IoTeX. I'm not going to jump too deep into this, but I really want to highlight this fact that IoTeX is already powering different types of devices, not just Raspberry Pi and Arduino type of boards, but we also have devices that we worked alongside chip manufacturers and device manufacturers to create. So one of these is called UCAM. It won the CES Innovation Award in 2020. It applies this your keys, your data type of model. Everyone's familiar with your keys, your funds with Bitcoin. You're the only one that owns the private key. Kind of apply that concept so people are logging into this security camera with a blockchain identity that only they own. And the system uses their private key to end-to-end encrypt all of the videos. So only they and not anyone else can decrypt and view those videos. So it's using blockchain more for a own your data, own your privacy type of perspective. And there's about 8,000 adopters of UCAM across 60 countries and selling on Amazon for anyone that wants to give it a go. Great stocking stuffer. But the focus of this presentation and what we're going to be diving deeper into is Pebble Tracker. Pebble Tracker is a secure hardware-based asset tracking device. We built it alongside Nordic Semiconductor, one of the top fabless kind of cellular IoT chip manufacturers globally. And this is really a unique device in the sense that it not only is self-sovereign, meaning it has a blockchain-based identity, but it also pairs with some of these kind of ancillary toolkits that we have, such as TruStream, to bring signed, verifiable, and real-time data from the real world and making it available to smart contracts. It's jam-packed with very expressive sensors. It has a GPS sensor, has a climate sensor, which does temperature, humidity, air pressure for elevation and air quality. It does a 6-axis accelerometer gyroscope, which does motion and vibration and acceleration, and finally an ambient light sensor. So all of these are data points that could be useful when you think about smart contracts as kind of if-then logic, right? If this device can prove to the blockchain that an asset, a person, a vehicle was at a specific place at a specific time, then you can kickstart any number of kind of responses, right? You can settle a payment, you can mint an NFT, you can kick off another workflow, you can send a notification. So this if this then that between the real world and the digital world is a very, very interesting design space. And, Pebble Tracker, we just ran the first manufacturing run of about 1,000 units and already pretty much sold out of the first 1,000, but, many more manufacturing runs of this coming up. The firmware is open source, the backend is open source, and eventually down the road, we intend to open source the hardware so people can even white label this device and play around with the configuration. So very important to note, we have a lot of great experience working with all types of real world devices, and also have a lot of SDKs for Raspberry Pi and Arduino, which are more and more being used in production these days. I want to close my section just by explaining a little bit about what these devices are really meant to do, right? Everyone's familiar with proof of work and proof of stake from a blockchain context, right? These have kind of fallen into being focused on consensus. Proof of work, we understand to be within the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you solve a computationally intensive puzzle first, then you've proven your work and you establish your candidacy to become a block producer for Bitcoin. Similar thing with proof of stake. If you stake 32 Ethereum and you prove that to the blockchain, then you establish your candidacy to be an Ethereum validator. But what we should abstract this concept into is we are literally providing proofs to the blockchain in order to get some type of permission or to kick off some type of downstream process, right? So IoTeX believes in this concept of proof of anything. If we can prove things verifiably to a blockchain, then we can trigger any number of responses, right? And it's very important to draw some parallels to what's going on in the decentralized finance space already, right? Chainlink, back in summer of 2020, really jump-started this DeFi renaissance because they provided a single version of the truth about what the price of a Bitcoin or a USDT or a digital asset is at any point in time. And this is a single version of the truth that everyone can agree upon, right? On top of this single version of the truth, all of this lending, borrowing, collateralization, etc., was built on top. But if the foundational single version of the truth was not trusted, all of the things that are built on top of it can't be trusted either, right? So that foundational truth is extremely important. When we think about bringing data from the real world to the blockchain, we also have to think about how do we make this verifiable to others? Similarly to how everyone agrees that, yes, this Chainlink Oracle is providing the right Bitcoin price at this time. If we are trying to build trust amongst a consortium of enterprises that doesn't trust each other, how do we make sure that we can provide an unbiased and trusted reading about the location of an asset or the condition of an asset or anything that happens outside of the blockchain world to create these opportunities to collaborate, right? So blockchains are stupid until you make them smart, right? So you can think about IoTeX as a full stack platform that really tries to combine open and secure hardware as kind of the data generators, right? Pebble Tracker, as Xinxin is going to explain to you, captures and signs the data as it's being captured for authenticity and ownership. And this is a very important kind of stamp that downstream is going to play an important role to make that data verifiable to others. So this open and secure hardware is kind of the data generator, the real world data oracle. Xinxin is going to dive into this as well, but this is kind of like the translation layer, making this real world data into this telemetry data into kind of blockchain ready and readable insights that are indexed into a subgraph. Decentralized identity makes it possible for this data that's captured and transmitted to then be owned by a specific on-chain identity, whether it's a device DID that owns the data, or it's a personal DID that is associated with the device that owns that data. This is an important way to, when we think about data as a digital asset, we're assigning ownership of this digital asset via a decentralized identity. And finally, there's dApps and smart contracts, where based on the data that a device or a person owns, they can opt in to share it with a smart contract, either to fulfill some type of compliance requirement or to get some type of benefit. It's really on an opt-in basis, right? Data as your digital property, you can use it how you wish. So if you want to plug it into a smart contract to get some type of benefit, there's a whole ecosystem of applications that you can plug into. So this real world to blockchain world type of process flow is basically IoTex's MO here, right? We want to be the infrastructure that brings all of this trusted data to the chain, and we're uniquely working on this kind of full stack approach to make that happen. And just an example of proof of anything that we're very bullish on and working a lot on is this concept of proof of presence, right? Within Trusted Trip, this concept of I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this word right, but ubiquity is kind of tracking an asset's location through space and time. That's exactly what this Pebble Tracker was designed to do, even before we started working on this starting in late 2019, early 2020. So it's really exciting to see Pebble Tracker come to life, and also to see everyone kind of interested in this bringing real world data to the blockchain universe. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Xinxin, who's going to dive deeper into the technical side of Pebble Tracker and how it applies to some of the ongoing initiatives within MOBI. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Larry. Let me share my slides.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, seems like I'm not sharing.
Give it another go, Xinxin. I just stopped sharing.
Okay, sure.
Great.
Yeah, all right. Hello, everyone. I'm Xinxin Fan. Today I'm happy to sharing about with the group about the Pebble Tracker. Basically, I just want to answer a few key questions about Pebble Tracker, like what is this and how can you use that in the different applications. So first, a little bit of background about Pebble Tracker. So as you see on this figure, Pebble Tracker is actually out-of-the-box trusted and secure asset tracker development kit with 4G connectivity and a wide range of wireless sensor technologies. So this device is built around the latest low-power NRF 9160 system in package chip from the Nordic Semiconductor. As Larry also mentioned before, this device equipped different type of sensors, which enable you to capture your location and the climate or environment situation and the motion, as well as the light. So by packing those type of sensors as well as combines with platform security provided by this SoC, you can actually provide the trusted data from out of this device. In terms of security, this device uses Cortex M33 processor, which enable you to use ARM Trust Zone. Together with CryptoCell 310 within this device, you can combine these two technology to provide very strong security for the data you collected from this device. So this device also supports LTM and both LTM and NB-IoT within this frequency band, which means you can use this worldwide with IoT SIM card. So the tool chain and development tools SDKs are open source from Nordic, and we did further customization to support you to use this device to interact with the blockchain. So which means all the software tools open source. You can do the first customization to use this device for your particular application. Yeah, a little bit more the hardware. This RF9160 chip is quite. They actually put the processor, modem, as well as internal GPS, RF front end in a very compact package. You can see it's like the silver chip. Inside this device. This processor support ultrasound. Which can be used to split your application to a secure world and normal world. You can put your secure application or more sensitive operations with involving the cryptography keys, putting those applications in the secure world and other applications in the normal world. And you can switch between two worlds when certain operation happens. They also support the crypto cell technology. This one you can use to securely store your key, as well as use the crypto accelerator to do all the symmetric key or public key release operations. So we packed fruit of sensors on this device. You can capture location, temperature, humidity, pressure, as well as the gas together with motion activities all from this device. Lotex Semiconductor actually published a very short tech brief describes how this device can be used in the blockchain scenario on their various quarter magazine. This is about the hardware. So we take the community-driven approach to launch this hardware. The main goal is to try to attract the developers from the embedded software community, IoT community, as well as the blockchain community to build a decentralized application together. So this one, that's why everything about this development the tools are completely open source. So in this way, all the different developers can work together to build innovative applications. So this is some background about this device. Now I would like to answer, what is Pebble Tracker and how can you use that? So Pebble Tracker can be used in different ways depending on your specific applications. Firstly, Pebble Tracker is a trusted IoT device, which means if you can use that one as a conventional IoT device in a more centralized architecture. For example, you can easily integrate into your AWS cloud. So you just download the certificate from the AWS IoT core, put the certificate inside your device and create the digital twin on the cloud side. After that, you can interact with the other AWS service to build your application. So your device identity or the other is managed by the AWS IoT core, other identity of your user, and access control is handled by the AWS identity and access management module. So this is more conventional centralized IoT application you are familiar with. The idea just to bring your device from the physical world through the certificate to download from the cloud service provider. Then you create a digital twin. Then following that you can interact with other service within the cloud providers platform. So this is more traditional way to build IoT application. If you want to build the tracking application, just attach this tracker to your vehicle, and then you have centralized trip tracking application. However, if you have some concerns for the cloud service provider, either from the security perspective, or you want to further enhance your centralized application, use blockchain, you can consider further extend your application by taking advantage of some certain features on the blockchain. So in this way, Pebble Tracker can also help. Pebble Tracker is actually a blockchain-empowered trusted IoT device in this sense. So the idea is that unlike the centralized applications, yeah, you put all the service on the cloud platform. So in the you can easily take advantage of blockchain to further enhance your cloud-based applications. The idea is that you are going to move certain core services or the applications from your cloud service platform to the blockchain. So in this way, you can take certain features on the blockchain either to enhance the security of your entire application, or you can also further automate some application workflow using the blockchain. So, however, in order to take advantage of blockchain in the IoT use cases, you also need a blockchain oracle. So this one will bring the what happened on the physical world to the blockchain. So by combining these two, you can build the blockchain enhanced IoT system. So on the one side, you can still run certain applications on the cloud and move more critical applications you want to you want to enhance the security to the blockchain. On the other hand, you can enable the your IoT device go through the blockchain oracle to send the certain proof or other data to the blockchain. To enable this oracle, particularly for the IoT application, IoTeX is working on the decentralized blockchain oracle called TruStream. So unlike other blockchain oracle you already see in the community, the TruStream is a little bit different, right? So this one is dedicated design for the IoT applications. So eventually, so this oracle will capture what's happening in the physical world by allowing the device to generate a proof on the device side, and this oracle will translate this proof to the something. To translate this proof to a TruStream proof, which can be easily verified by the blockchain. So instead of directly grab the data from the third-party API or the third-party tools, so TruStream oracle is a combine of computing components, storage components, as well as connectivity components, which means this one will actively interact with the device in the field to grab the data or the proofs, and also doing certain translation. Then the insight will be put on the blockchain. So this oracle will be also run in the decentralized manner through consensus, which means in the final version we will have the decentralized oracle, which can basically translate what's happening in the physical world to the blockchain world. So by combining this with your existing cloud service, you can build what I've talked about, the blockchain enhanced IoT application. Okay, this is basically the second approach. You can use Pebble Tracker to enhance your existing IoT application. Thirdly, Pebble Tracker is an instantiation of the IoTeX MachineFi vision. So Pebble Tracker actually is the first device we are going to experiment the concept of MachineFi. So in a nutshell, what is MachineFi? Actually, the MachineFi is a combination of the real-world machine together with a powerful decentralized financial instrument DeFi. Okay, by combining these two concepts, actually you can see in the physical world, user may own a lot of different type of devices. Those devices will generate the data, complete a certain task, or some events. All of those happening in the physical world can be monetized through the decentralized financial instruments. You can, for example, rent your device to trade the data in the decentralized marketplace. Also, you can invest. For example, multiple people can invest multiple people can invest in the mining rail for cryptocurrency. This is just some typical examples of the MachineFi, how it works. By combining these two concepts, actually, you can unlock essentially unlimited number of decentralized MachineFi applications. So Pebble Tracker, just the very first instance, we try to use this one to experiment the different concepts in the MachineFi. We will gradually enable other devices like the Raspberry Pi, Arduino board, even your smartphone, and the different mining rigs to join, this IoTeX network. So the typical applications, including like the machine learning, decentralized machine learning, you can take advantage of the data from the device in the decentralized manner, or you can join the location-based machine game. You can use device together with your car to unlock the certain decentralized service. For example, in the traffic jam case, to allow other people to give it away to you by paying the cryptocurrency token. Or you can even use the device to organize a community to ask them to complete a certain task. Those are just typical applications for MachineFi. By combining the different type of the device as well as the capability provided by the device together with the IoTeX blockchain platform, actually you can enable people to monetize what's happening in the physical world. Yeah, that's a basic concept about MachineFi. And Pebble Tracker, as I mentioned, just the first instance, we try to put into the community, encourage everybody to experiment with this, build the different type of application. So the last question I would like to answer is that how we can use Pebble Tracker in the MOBI Trusted Trip initiative. According to the definition from the MOBI Trusted Trip is a trip which either already complete or in progress by a roaming entity, which means there's an entity which just traveling on the road or in the roaming status. So during this trip, the attribute of the roaming entity can be verified by the authorized entities, or you can call it the verifiers in a consortium network. As you can see on the figure, on this figure, we will have the multiple like the ecosystem partners form a consortium network, which actually can test different attributes when you are traveling on the road. Either you stop in front of the you stop at the gas station, or you pass a toll booth. So this one will be enabled by ecosystem partners, a consortium network. So most importantly, MOBI Trusted Trip combines the decentralized identifiers with trusted timestamped locations to enable a wide range of applications, such as road tolling, congestion management, carbon and pollution taxing, user-based insurance, etc. So through a collaboration among the ecosystem partners, so they can, you can get attestation from those ecosystem partners when you're traveling along the road. By collecting those attestations, or you can verifiable credentials, you can unlock the different mobility applications. MOBI just released the Trusted Trip standards. So I just give a very high-level overview how this can work. Essentially, we have a consortium blockchain, which operated by the different ecosystem partners. I think it's a gas station, toll booth, parking lot, etc. So when you have the vehicle traveling on the road, passing by the different entities, they are going to issue you a verifiable credential when you interact with those entities. Those verifiable credentials the collection of those verifiable credential will give you what they call the trusted trip. So this one will attest what's happened when you interact with different entities along the road. So by using this verifiable credential, which can be verified publicly without relying any third party, centralized third party. So anyone in the ecosystem or in the consortium blockchain network can verify this attestation. So in this way, once vehicle collect all the verifiable credentials, so you can easily prove how many different entities passing by and what's happened at exactly which time and which location. So so this way essentially give you a way to prove what's happening along the trip. So when you interact with the different service providers, you may present present the verifiable credential to unlock the certain mobility related service. So this is just a high level overview how this MOBI Trusted Trip works in practice. I encourage everyone to take a look at these standards to get more details regarding the business application as well as technical specification. So lastly, I want to talk about how we can integrate the Pebble Tracker into the MOBI Trusted Trip initiative. So like you see from the figure on the left, essentially Pebble Tracker can be one of the partner in the entire ecosystem. So unlike other ecosystem partners, they are stay on the certain location in a static way, right? So they are just your gas station will be in a certain location, and parking lot and the toll booth, etc. They are all static entities. However, the Pebble Tracker actually in this case can serve as a mobile verifiable credential issuers. So which means if you carry a Pebble Tracker and after doing the certain configuration, they can track they can track you along the road and issue a verifiable credential in a consecutive manner. So on the right side, I just list what's a possible claim verifiable credential looks like. What's a claim should looks like, right? So you have the identity, and you can include the GPS data, temperature, humidity, and air pressure, etc. All those information into a claim. But you can also configure this device in a very flexible manner, depending on your concrete application. So essentially, Pebble Tracker can attest the status, attest the different status about your trip, and as well as the environment when you're driving along the way. So this one will give you fruitful information which can be leveraged by other service provider to unlock the mobility related services. Okay, so as I show in this, in this figure, Pebble Tracker is like a mobile verifiable credential issuer. They will test you multiple times along the way. So I think that's a very good complementary with all those static entities. So essentially by combining all those entities together, which can give you can build a more trustworthy data when you drive the vehicle along the way. I think that's a one way to use Pebble Tracker into the MOBI Trust Trip case by issuing the verifiable credentials. So the work ahead is that we need to integrate like the wallet or the wallet together with the agent inside this device, and follow the MOBI Trusted Trip standards. What's a verifiable credential should looks like in this case in order to interoperate with other entities. I think that's some interesting work ahead. So we can build together with the MOBI community. Yeah, that's all I would like to share today. Yeah, happy to answer some questions. Thank you.
Fantastic. Yeah, maybe I could just share a tiny bit more about some of the ongoing initiatives that can spark some ideas about how Pebble Tracker can be used. So, I mentioned a few ongoing initiatives. So within the Industry IoT Consortium, IoTeX is the co-chair of the Distributed Ledger Task Group within this Industry IoT Consortium, founded by Bosch, Dell, GE, Huawei, Microsoft, etc. And this specific test drive is meant to cover valuable asset tracking for healthcare networks. So focusing on medical supply chains. Think about if a group of hospitals are sharing ventilators or other kind of medical equipment, Pebble Tracker can provide a real-time 360 view of how these assets are being treated and where they are, and the passage of ownership can be kind of facilitated with smart contracts. So this is something that's brand new that we're working with several enterprise members within the IoT consortium on. In the same light, we see some other builders within the IoTeX ecosystem working with Pebble Tracker on supply chain use cases. Consensus Networks is a delegate within the IoTeX network since 2018, and they received a $1.5 million contract to build HealthNet, which is a medical supply solution that utilizes IoTeX blockchain and Pebble Tracker. We also have some fun kind of Dapps and things like this, Pebble Go, modeled after Pokemon Go, using this proof of presence concept in order to let people claim NFTs based on their real world location. So more fun spin to the things we're talking about. As I also mentioned, there's these ongoing IEEE working groups that I think everyone should take a look at. They're ongoing. This one is standard for the framework of blockchain use in the Internet of Things. Xinxin is the vice chair here, and also our P2958, which is a standard that we founded, IoTeX founded, that seeks to create a standard for decentralized identity access management framework for IoT, of which Xinxin is the chair. So if any of these opportunities are interesting to you, or you want to learn more about some of the ongoing work within these standards bodies and enterprise consortiums, do reach out. We would love to share some of the insights we've had. And just for anyone that's also interested in diving more into Pebble Tracker, right now, so far we've have around 500 or so backers. This doesn't include China, that have ordered Pebble Tracker. Xinxin showed you the version without the sleek consumer-facing case. This is kind of like the bare bones developer open case that Xinxin showed you. But yeah, we're really excited to put this into people's hands, both from people that are using this as an asset tracker / gateway to Dapps, and more so a lot of developers that are looking to build prototypes and pilots with this. And there's extensive documentation here about how to get started with Pebble Tracker. For anyone that's interested, we'll drop all of these links into the chat right now. But as Xinxin mentioned, we're happy to answer any specific questions. Appreciate everyone joining.
Awesome. Thank you both for a great lecture. Yeah, everyone, if you have questions, please put them in the chat box and we can answer some of them. We have one so far. Is TruStream part of the Pebble stack, or is it a separate thing?
Yeah, this one is actually you can use independently as a blockchain oracle to interact with with your different type of IoT device. Also, yeah, of course, to enable the MachineFi type of applications, this TruStream is one of the core components. Within our stack.
Yeah, you can think of it as a off-chain stateful virtual machine that's meant to perform this translation task. The collection, the signing, the translation into blockchain-ready data, and then finally the indexing of that data into a subgraph. If you're familiar with the graph protocol, It's a way to index data, make it easily ingestible by Dapps. So that's kind of the end product of TruStream. TruStream is kind of the first, or Pebble Tracker is the first kind of instantiation and usage of the TruStream protocol. But TruStream is meant to fit any type of device. It intakes an MQTT message, runs it through the TruStream Oracle and then kind of indexes and offers it into a subgraph ready format. I think this is also related to the next question from Derek. Kelly, did you want to read that one out?
Yeah. So Derek is asking, is the only thing shared by the devices the various proofs, or does actual data get shared as well? If data does as well, how do you tackle data privacy and secure data sharing throughout IoTex's platform? So not just encrypting generated data for a single entity to securely store and access, but allowing that entity the ability to control access to the data and securely share that data with others.
Okay, so this one I think is more application related. If you want to use the data to trigger certain operations, with a smart contract, you have to send the data on the chain, right? So in order to for the smart contract to test what's happened, most cases what you only need to do, especially when you have the streaming data for a very long time, it might not be a good idea to put the data on the blockchain, right? So it's a huge amount of data and continuously and maybe last for a very long time. So in this case, it's better to just send a proof or some kind of aggregation on the blockchain and leave the data off chain. So in order to provide the privacy, you definitely can use the DID based approach. In this way, you can define how your data being accessed by who, right? So in this case, you may need to encrypt the data on the device, on the device, and and specify where you would like to store those data, right? So, and then you can use a DID-based approach to allow other people entity to access the data, under certain condition. I think it's more application specific.
Yeah, and that's really the purpose of this decentralized identity and access management framework as well, right? The ability for devices to own their own identity, allow them to own their own data, and authorize it to select parties. You know, this is already, those requirements already cover, I mean, those features already fulfill a lot of requirements for, you know, the types of use cases that people reach out to us about. Simply immutable ledger, authorization of to select parties, and control of the data pipeline, right? So
Great. We have another question. Is there any use case so far for energy, oil, and gas industry, such as carbon credit offset and assets utilization?
You know, we've chatted with many people that are working in the carbon credit space, specifically in the efficiency credits. You know, there's so many different types of carbon credits out there today, but the ability to install different types of IoT devices into your HVAC units, for example, lower the amount of refrigerant liquid or, you know, electricity used. These are all ways to generate efficiency credits, right? On the other side of the spectrum, there's people planting forests and using that as ways to offset their annual carbon prediction estimates, right? So across the board, you should think about smart meters and anything that's kind of gauging the energy efficiency or energy usage as a potential user of TruStream, right? If you can send a MQTT message saying, hey, this device or this building or this entire corporation has used this much energy over this day, you know, that data can be used to trigger some business logic in the form of a smart contract, right? Going back to that kind of if-then statement, TruStream and Pebble and other types of IoT devices are meant to form the proof of the if part, right? If this thing happens, then that thing happens, where the then part is smart contract based, right? So we'd like to think this kind of framework is universally applicable to a lot of different verticals, but the secure hardware part of it is also important, right? So this is where kind of the Raspberry Pi, Arduino kind of prototypes really come into play. There's a lot of ways that we can run pilots. So as TruStream, matures through the implementation of Pebble, we're excited to explore how it could be applied to other, blockchain and IoT is a horizontal at the end of the day, right? That applies to many, many different types of verticals. So, yeah.
Great. So I think we have time for probably one more question. So is there a native token or alternate payments mechanism?
Yeah, so IoTeX is its own native blockchain. We built it completely from scratch starting in 2017. We wrote our own consensus mechanism. We do adopt EVM, which is the gold standard for developers these days that want to use Solidity. But there is a native token. It's called IoTeX. It's meant to drive incentives between users and validators, like many other layer one blockchains. Right? Users spend IoTeX for gas, and validators that confirm transactions, sequence it into blocks, maintain consensus, receive payment in the form of IoTeX for performing those services. On top of this layer one blockchain, a lot of dApps are launching their own tokens. There's about 30 plus unique tokens on IoTeX right now. Some of them are cross-chain bridged from other networks. Some of them are native to IoTeX. When we think about this multi-chain future, right, we're really trying to position IoTeX as catering to a very required niche, right? A lot of general purpose computing layer ones out there. IoTeX is really, we can fulfill those as well. We have a nice little ecosystem of DeFi and GameFi stuff that our users enjoy, but our long-term vision is really how do we connect these devices and their data and value to these dApps. And there's a lot of intersections for DeFi and GameFi within that, right? Gamifying your real world activities to earn digital assets and digital reputation. In my personal opinion, that's the next evolution of play to earn, right? Where people today are doing things in the digital world to earn digital assets. Eventually, we're going to be able to do things in the real world to earn digital assets or digital reputation, right? It's kind of the real world metaverse type of buzzwordy narrative. But yeah, I think alternate payments mechanism, I'm not sure exactly what that is referring to, but there's many different tokens on IoTeX, including stablecoins. If you wanted to take payment in a stable coin for a service you're offering, it's definitely doable. Or you can create your own, what we call XRC20 tokens, just the ERC20 standard on IoTeX. So yeah, very flexible. The best part is all these, if you guys are building on Ethereum, which is getting exorbitantly expensive, very, very easy to port any contracts onto our testnet or mainnet and get building. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Evan. Or sorry, Chris.
Great, thanks. So we have a couple of minutes so we can do our last question from Ben. He's asking, can you talk more about how the consensus mechanism works?
Yeah, Xinxin, do you want to explain a little details?
I can take this one. On IoTeX blockchain, the consensus is called the row depose. It's a random variance of dedicated proof of stake. The idea is that we have 100 plus delegates globally distributed. And when blockchain is moving on, it will be divided into different epoch. So in each epoch, we select a certain number of delegates from the delegates pool, and those delegates will run the PBFT to producing block. In a sequential order. So that's basically how the consensus mechanism works on the IoTeX blockchain. So which means each epoch you will get a new group of delegates selected from the pool and running the PBFT.
Yeah, just randomized delegated proof of stake. Same performance as traditional DPoS, but with a randomization layer to add a little bit more decentralization without sacrificing the performance. Awesome. Yeah, for anyone that wants to dive a little deeper into IoTeX, I'm going to drop this link. It's our onboarding pack. And I've also included some other links in the comments here. Link to Pebble Tracker on Crowd Supply, which is our kind of crowdfunding platform. Not our crowdfunding platform, but kind of like a Kickstarter for hardware. Pebble documentation, our open source GitHub with all of our Pebble repos for that open source firmware, that open source backend. and finally our onboarding pack here. So yeah, I think just to recap, we're very excited to join MOBI. I think there's a lot of applicability in what we can do with Pebble Tracker. You've already got some interest from, of course, Trusted Trip, but also some other working groups that are working on, dealerships. And, in that case, Pebble Tracker within a dealership vehicle can, tell you how many people have entered it. You put it onto a door, it can measure the inside air quality of the vehicle. It has a motion sensor. You can tell if someone has opened or closed the door. So all of this data is useful, right? We really want to hear from the membership, if we had this telemetry data for a moving asset or even data from a non-moving asset that's not meant to move, right? How can we use this? It's kind of a design space for what verifiable telemetry data can do. So we're open to chatting with everybody. And just seeing how this technology can apply, right? I'm happy to donate or give out some Pebble trackers for anyone that's working on some use cases. So the last thing I will do is I will drop Xinxin's email and my own email. So if anyone wants to get in touch with us, feel free to reach out. But really appreciate MOBI for setting up this community innovation lecture. Thanks so much, Kelly, for having us today.
Yeah, thank you both so much. Really great lecture. And as a reminder to everyone, we recorded this lecture, so you can find it on our website on our lecture series page. So thank you and have a great day, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Have a
Thank
good day.
you.
Bye.
Bye.